Our opening hymn for this evening's wake service is found in the Breaking Bread book in your pew, and it is number 395, The Servant Song, and we will sing all of the verses. 5 verses.
Will you let me be your servant? Let me be as Christ to you. Pray that I may have the grace to let you be my servant too. We are pilgrims on a journey. We are travelers on the road. We are here to help each other walk the mile and bear the load. I will hold the Christ light for you in the night time of your fear. I will hold my hand out to you, speak the peace you long to hear. I will weep when you are weeping, when you laugh, I'll laugh with you. I will share your joy and sorrow till we've seen this journey through. When we sing to God in heaven, we shall find such harmony. Born of all we've known together, of Christ's love and agony.
Good evening and welcome, and thank you for being here this evening as we gather to remember with deep gratitude the life of our sister, Mary Middendorf. We welcome especially her family and her dear friends. Tonight with us, her family, Jean, her nephew, and his wife, Deb, her niece-in-law, Lisa, her niece, Rachel, her great-niece, and Zach, her great-nephew, Maria, her niece, and Tripp, her nephew-in-law, Dave, her nephew, and Sharon, her niece-in-law, Kim, her niece, and Roger, her nephew-in-law, Rebecca, her niece, and Andrea, her niece. So we welcome you all, and we're so glad that you could be here with us tonight. We offer you our deepest sympathy and our sincere prayers. Let us take a moment of quiet now to welcome Christ's presence in our midst and to allow his gift of peace to fill our hearts. God of blessings and source of all holiness, the voice of your Spirit has drawn countless women and men to follow Jesus Christ and to bind themselves to you with ready will and loving hearts. Look with mercy on Sister Mary, who sought to fulfill her vows to you, and grant her the reward promised to all good and faithful servants. May she rejoice in the company of the saints, and with them praise you forever. We ask this through Jesus, the Christ. Amen. Let us now listen and find comfort in God's holy word.
A reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. The Spirit of God is upon me, because God has anointed me to bring good tidings to the afflicted. God has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and the opening of the prison to those who are bound, to proclaim the year of God's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, and to comfort all who mourn. The word of God. Thanks be to God.
Guide me, O shepherd of my heart, lead me homeward through the dark into everlasting day. Show me the way of truth and light, keep me always in your sight. May my life never part from the shepherd of my heart. Guide me, O shepherd of my heart, lead me homeward through the dark into everlasting day. Show me the way of truth and light, keep me always in your sight. May my life never part from the shepherd of my heart. My shepherd is the Lord, for nothing shall I want. Green are the pastures where I'm led to repose. Near waters still and deep, God will refresh my soul. I am led onward in ways true to the name. Guide me, O shepherd of my heart, lead me homeward through the dark into everlasting day. Show me the way of truth and light, keep me always in your sight. May my life never part from the shepherd of my heart. If I should walk one day into the veil of darkness, no evil shall I fear, with God at my side. There with your crook and staff, you give me strength and comfort. You spread a banquet in the sight of my Keep me homeward through the dark into everlasting day. Show me the way of truth and light. Keep me always in your sight. May my life never part from the shepherd of my heart. You anoint my head with oil, my cup is overflowing. Goodness and kindness crown the days of my life. Within the Lord's own house, I dwell in peace forever. Within the house of God, my soul is at rest. Guide me, O shepherd of my heart. Lead me homeward through the dark into everlasting day. Show me the way of truth and light. Keep me always in your sight. May my life never part from the shepherd of my heart.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. John.
Glory to you, Lord God.
This is my commandment: love one another as I have loved you. There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer speak of you as subordinates, because a subordinate does not know what the superior is doing. Instead, I call you friends, because I have made known to you everything I have learned from God. It was not you who chose me. It was I who chose you and appointed you to go forth and bear fruit. Your fruit must endure, so that whatever you ask of God in my name, God will give you. This command I give you: love one another. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Jesus Christ.
If you be seated now, and we're going to have the Nightingale tribute.
I now invite all nurses and all others that are in the medical profession to please come to the center aisle and form a single file and honor guard for Sister Mary Middendorf's final roll call. Nursing is a calling, a lifestyle, a way of living. Nurses and medical staff here today honor our colleague, Sister Mary Middendorf, and her life as a nurse. Sister Mary is not remembered by her years as a nurse, and they were many, but by the difference she made during those years by stepping into people's lives and by special moments shared. I'm now going to read a line, and after the line, I'll raise my hand, and your response is, Mary was there. When a calming, quiet presence was all that was needed, Mary was there. In the excitement and miracle of birth, or in the mystery and loss of life, Mary was there. When a silent glance could uplift a patient, family member, or friend, Mary was there. At those times when the unexplainable needed to be explained, Mary was there. When the situation demanded a swift foot and sharp mind, Mary was there. When a gentle touch, a firm push, or an encouraging word was needed, Mary was there. In choosing the best one from a family's thank you box of chocolates, Mary was there. To witness humanity, its beauty in good times and bad, without judgment, Mary was there. To embrace the woes of the world willingly and offer hope, Mary was there. And now that it is time to be at the greater one's side, Mary is there. Sister Mary, we honor you this evening and present these white roses as you make your final roll call. The final roll call. Sister Mary Middendorf.
Thank you, Sister Marion, and all of our medical, nursing colleagues. Now we take a special moment in which we can share stories and begin the journey of turning those stories into memories. This is a precious and sacred moment when we can let tears flow and laughter heal. Each of us probably has a special Sister Mary story. I invite us now to share our stories and memories of Sister Mary. If you wish to share, there was a microphone there. Oh, okay. All right. There is a microphone. If you wish to share, please come to the microphone. And it's on, right? Yeah. This microphone is kind of funny. When you talk, you have to really hold it close to your mouth. You almost feel like you're choking on it. But for people to hear, we need to do that. So I invite us each to take a moment and just kind of think, what is a story about Sister Mary that you might like to share? So just take a moment, think about that for a moment. So now I invite anyone who'd like to share a story to just come forward, use the microphone, and we'll be delighted to hear those stories.
Good evening. First of all, on behalf of the family, I want to thank all of you for what a wonderful job you did taking care of our Aunt Mary, okay? We can tell how much she was loved and cared for, and we are very grateful for that. Louder? Okay. All right. I'm getting the louder from in the back. All right. I'm Sister Susan, right? I'm glad you said laughter because I think I heard a whole lot of stories when I was here last week about how quiet and peaceful and loving our Aunt Mary was, okay? That wasn't always the case, okay? And just share a couple of stories if I can. Years ago, when our kids were teenagers, Aunt Mary came up to Cincinnati, and she was visiting with my parents, and I had a chance on her birthday, and I had a chance to bring the kids over there, and we had a dinner, and there was a Reds game on, and I remember laying in front of the TV set, and my kids were talking to Mary, and they said, "Aunt Mary, how old are you?" And I, just laying there watching the ball game, said, "She's as old as dirt." At any rate, that fired up Aunt Mary, who jumped off the couch and sat on me and gave me spankings, okay? And to this day, my kids, whenever we mention Aunt Mary's name, it's like, "Oh, Aunt Mary, she's the one who gave Dad spankings." So, at any rate. And then many of you, I think, know her brother, Ronald, or at least heard of him, okay? That was a relationship made in heaven, not. At any rate, she used to call him the Little Prince. But I know last week when I was here and I was seeing everything that was going on and my aunt passed, I couldn't help but think what that conversation was going to be like when they saw each other in heaven, okay? I can only guess they both looked at each other and said, "How did you get here?" So, those are my stories. And again, thank you very much for everything you did for our Aunt Mary.
I'm Sharon Cecil, an SCNA of the Sisters Charity of Nazareth. And my first really meeting Sister Mary was when I interviewed her for the Marie Menard Committee. And I got to spend quite a bit of time with her, learning all about her life. But the one thing that really impressed me the most was the story she told me about when she was on the USS Hope. And it took her 7 days to get to Brazil, where she was going to be on the ship, the medical ship, for a period of time. And I thought, boy, that must have been perseverance. I think it was 1972. But the funny thing about it was, she said one morning when she was there on the ship, the doctor comes in, he has a beer, and he handed her a beer. And she said, "I don't drink beer." And he says, "Well, you better get used to it." And she said, that was a first, a beer. And it was a warm beer. And she says, and it was still the morning. And she says, "I just never did anything like that before." But she went along with it and she drank her warm beer.
Hi, my name is Sister Adlin, and this is a hearsay story about Mary and the ship Hope. From what I hear, when the opportunity came up, Mary applied first, was accepted, and then asked permission. So she was a very wise woman. The other story that I'll tell, because Amina won't, is Mary loved Amina's famous dip. It's addictive. And so Amina, when we would come out, she would bring her dip. So she brought her dip, and it's a salsa-based dip with cream cheese and stuff, and she would bring her chips for it. Well, we came out the next time, and Mary said, somebody ate all my dip, and all I have is this bag of chips. So Amina had to make another batch of dip. So whoever took her dip, she was not happy, but it was resupplied. So she loved hot things in terms of the spice in the dip.
I'm Sister Ann Magruder, and I'm one of Mary's classmates. You know, when you ask us sisters, when we retire from our main ministry, what are we doing? Most of us will say, well, you know, I'm retired, but I do this, and I do that, and I do something else, because we think we never retire. Well, but when you ask Mary, what did she do after she retired, Mary would say, I'm retired, and that's all. So I said, well, I would tease Mary about that. I said, Mary, I don't understand. I said, you're the only person I know that just simply says, I'm retired. And Mary said, well, I am. Anyway, after Mary retired, she became interested in quilting. So she came to Ohio to visit me. And we went to Amish country in Dover and spent the whole day just looking at quilts, the beautiful quilts and the materials, the fabric, and I think she even purchased some fabric on that day. So when I see that beautiful quilt in the video back there, that might have been the fabric that she purchased. But we had a delightful visit, and I always remember that. I like to quilt at the same time Mary did. And I understand that she even went to St. Agnes Parish, I think, and quilted with the ladies once a week. So she did do some other things after she retired.
I'm Sister Sarah Ferriel. About, I think, 2 weeks ago, maybe it was a little longer than that, maybe 15 days ago, Mary looked up and just said, like she was remembering different things, and she looked right at me and she said, you know, I walked all the streets of Louisville downtown, and I was never afraid. I walked all the streets. I was never afraid. And it was like she was amazed at how many people wouldn't do what she did. But such joy as she reflected.
I used to go and visit her room, and she always had a pile of books with her. She was reading all the time. And I used to do some massage for her, and she loved that. But she had such a beautiful smile. I just saw her, and it was so beautiful. Just she loves everyone. She loves all of you people here. She just was a beautiful, beautiful woman. And God's having a lot of fun up there in heaven with her.
Hi, I'm Robin, and it's a lot of work to always look beautiful, but Sister Mary always looked beautiful. And one day she came into church, and I saw her, she looked gorgeous, had her pretty dress on, and I went running over to her, and I said, Sister Mary, you have curlers in your hair. And she said, oh, get them out. Did anybody see? And I said, no. So I took them out, and she said, how do I look? I said, you look beautiful.
I first met Mary when I was working at Nazareth Home. Don't exactly remember, I guess it was in the early 90s. And I was in chaplaincy at the time, and later was in the nursing department. But I used to go to the monthly meetings that they would have with the families. And I was always impressed by her. She was so very quiet, such a good listener, and a wonderful nurse, and a great diagnostician. But I'm going to tell you one thing. She was a good listener. And when she did finally speak, you better be listening, because what she had to say was always right on, and she didn't hide anything. And that was one of the things I admired about her. And I used to tease her here sometimes, and I'd say, don't you remember me at Nazareth Home? And she'd say, no. I said, Mary, you keep hurting my feelings constantly. I said, here I am. I'm admiring you all these years, and I'm remembering you, and you cannot remember me. So that was one of the things that we used to dig at. The other part of that was, though, is she had stacks of books. We've got a sister here who's in charge of the library. She's always trying to get books back. Well, if there was anything going to be missing, Sister usually had a pretty good stack of them and everything. So I would imagine Sister Barbara Joseph is very happy right now to get a lot of her books back. But she was such a delight to be around. I loved her. She was very quiet. One of the other things that had happened, though, was one day she got a little bit choked in the dining room. And I said, Mary, can you talk? And she wasn't saying anything. I said, Mary, can you talk? And she didn't say anything. And I said, if you don't say hello to me, I'm going to do the Heimlich on me. I can talk, she said. But then the last time that had happened, which was probably about a month ago, and she was starting to have some real problems with swallowing. And I happened to be sitting right next to her in the dining room, and she started to choke, and it looked kind of serious to me. And I said, Mary, can you say hello? Can you talk to me? And she just looked at me. So I did the Heimlich on her. And I told her, I said, you know, a lot of times when that happens, the body kind of goes into shock, and I want to take you upstairs in the wheelchair, because she was an independent little so-and-so that you had to talk into them. But I said, you know, your body's going to be very nervous. And she just kept thanking me the next day. But it was such a delight to be there, to know that I was able to do that, and that God had kind of placed me next to her in the dining room that night when it happened. So she was just a beautiful lady, a very strong lady. She knew what she wanted, and she went after it. So I will miss her very much.
Hello, I'm Sister Carol. The last couple of months, Mary and I, every once in a while, would end up at the same table during dinner time. And especially the last several months, she was very quiet. She would not initiate a conversation. And part of my crazy self is to get people talking. And so sometimes I would say, Mary, I don't like you at all, so I decided to come and torment you. And so she would say, well, you're doing a good job. And I said, well, good, because that's what I intended to do. And then we would both laugh, and then she would engage in a bit of conversation. And I would do that periodically, and we'd say really dumb things to one another about, how awful you look, or why don't you behave yourself, or really dumb things. But we made each other laugh, and I liked the fact that I could do that for and with her.
I'm Sister Teresa Knable. I first met Mary in 2002 when I moved back to Louisville after many, many years. Well, they invited me to the house on Eastern Parkway, and I remember they had this little dog that was really the heart of the community, and Mary loved that dog. But the story I want to tell is about Derby Day at Nazareth. Here at the Mother House, we have a little Derby party, and we even set up betting tables where you can bet a 10-cent bet, a quarter bet, 50 cents, or if you're a big spender, $1. Well, I was near Mary, trying to get to the tables, and she had this fistful of money, and she had this long list. I thought, what is she doing? I realized that she was playing the part of a bookie, and she was placing bets for other sisters on her floor and for some of the nursing staff. But typically, Mary, thinking of other people. And so she conscientiously got all those little bets in place. Don't know if they won anything or not.
I'd like to share a couple of things, kind of picking up and following up on the hot beer story. When Mary went into the hospital the last time, she was in the ER, and then they brought her up to the room. And I went, and as I got there, they were taking her up, and she went into the room up on the floor. So she was saying, I haven't had anything to eat all day, and she'd gone in like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and this was about 4 or something like that. So I said, Mary, are you hungry? You want them to get you something to eat? And she looks at me, she goes, yeah, you know what? But why don't you go out and get me a highball and bring it back? The other thing I wanted to share is I first met Mary when I was a junior sister, and I worked one summer at St. Joseph's Infirmary in Louisville, and she was there. And it was kind of a change of time in religious life, and we were just edging out of moving into what we like small local communities. And so Mary and Agnes Regina and Miriam Elizabeth and Sister Marilyn Spink had just left the big hospital community, and they were living in a small house nearby, like on Atwood. We used to have 2 houses on Atwood. And I remember at the time that they were such a forward-thinking and risk-taking group, and they would invite us to come over. And when I think back on it, I think what wonderful role models those women were for us younger women who were coming into the community. And our paths didn't cross much after that until Mary came to Nazareth, and then she joined the faith group that I belonged to. Not several of us here belonged to it. And that was when I got to know her a little bit better. So it was wonderful to have her in the group with us. And she and I really got to be good friends when I found out she loved dogs, and I have a dog. And so I used to bring our little dog Lily over on a regular basis to spend time with her. Sometimes I'd go in and she'd be in the room and Lily would sit on her lap, and she just loved it. And sometimes we'd take Lily out for a walk. Well, it wasn't too long before she would say to me, "When are you going to bring my dog over to see me?" So she claimed Lily, but it was a delight to see her enjoy that so much. And one of the things I think I appreciated about her, which is what people have been saying, is that she had such a zest for life. She just really enjoyed, whether it was a little dog or whatever, she just enjoyed life. And that was a wonderful thing to get to know her in that way. So let us hold these memories in our hearts as we thank God for Sister Mary, who lived so fully and faithfully the charism of the Sisters of Charity of Nazareth. So I invite us all now to stand and extend your hands over Sister as we sing our blessing song.
May all that you have done before the healing of the whole, may all that you have done mend our broken world. May all that you have done bring blessings on the earth. May all that you have done before the good of all that you have done.
May the peace of God, which is beyond all understanding, keep our hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God and of God's Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Our recessional hymn is Quietly, Peacefully. We will sing all 3 verses.
May she rest in you. Quietly,
It's so inspiring to come and listen to the lives of these. She said, oh my gosh, I'm surprised. Just love the music. Okay.